All right. We are recording and making dinner. And technically I am holding the mic. So look.
You can keep holding it if you want.
No, I think this is good.
Alright.
Something. Oh, bucks.
It's gonna be loud.
Wait, let me mark it. This is when.
We'll edit that out.
I just marked it.
Yeah, that'll work.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, but I want this cutting board back. Okay. You were saying...
I was saying that we've got a lot of projects running. One of them is Mirror House, which is the name of the house, as well as the name of the band. And,
Or band.
yeah.
Where I'm learning.
The reggaeton band. And, the pod kind of makes, to me, more sense to prioritize because the whole point of the pod is, like, it's about the process.
The process of our lives versus just one project.
Yeah, so, there's nothing holding up the pod. It's done already, really. We're trying...
It makes itself by us living our lives.
Right.
And that we just happen to press record on the device.
Yeah, so to me, if we do have any intention of sharing this somehow, it makes sense that it's kind of already ready to go. That's just my take. So we were just discussing that because Paloma's working in Ableton, learning
in real time. Yeah, I mean, I think another way of also that I'm thinking, I think I'm agreeing with you that the pod is a higher priority is because the learning curve for me to have momentum in how I'm contributing to Mirror House as the band is so much steeper because I'm both learning Ableton, I'm learning like how music works, I'm learning to shut down the inner critic, which is really loud. I'm not used to such a loud inner critic, and it's really loud about that I'm not a musician and who the fuck do I think I am?
Sure.
And so that's a lot all at once, so that I make progress on it, but very small amounts at a time. In the meantime, we're also like working on Mirror House the House and the 30 other projects. So, / it's the holidays, it's like we're traveling. I think it would feel good to have this rolling and have its own momentum. Honestly, I think that would be good for my brain. So that as I start learning Mirror House the band and how to contribute at a decent rate, it's because I'm not like... I don't know, it's already being documented and I'm already feeling...
Yeah.
Yeah, that would feel good. It's been hard on my brain to have these projects that move a little slower in part because I've got so many at the same time. I know this, but in some ways it's because a lot of them matter in different ways, right? Like some parts of the house as projects mattered because winter was coming. Winter is coming. Anyway.
Yeah.
That would feel good. I'm not gonna lie, that would feel good to move this up. It's so ready to just...
Yeah. I like when you have an idea and it's kind of a nice whole packaged idea, and this idea is done. It's ready.
It's ready.
It makes sense the way it is. And I like it. So, yeah. We can work on like getting the audio in some way near what we want, and then that's a thing we've got going. Because, like we've talked about earlier, I find these like really helpful for me.
Yeah. Like, not just, I mean, our conversations traverse a lot of ground, even when we weren't recording. But I think I hear you saying that by recording them, they do even more than that.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, it feels right.
How are you how are you feeling about having so many projects?
I think there's two parts to it. One is, Derek calls it my Ouija board, which is a Trello board that I've made from stickies. That's like over the dining room table, kind of. Did I do enough noodles? Not really.
Probably not, but
We're gonna add a few more. Trello boards are cool visuals, especially if you have stickies, because they're very tactile. But they Kanban, some people call them too, Kanban. They make visual the projects and the progress you're making, and I think for someone like folks like us, definitely for my brain, often if I start feeling overwhelmed, it may be because I've got too many projects, but it's often because I forget that I'm only working on certain projects at a time. Yeah. I've got what I call my carousel, which is like 10 projects I'm always caring about or excited about or like daydreaming about, and that's just mental excitement. But I think I need to remember that that's different than like, hey, but remember it's December and you said you're just going to focus on these two. So if you start thinking and stressing about something that's not one of those two, so what are my December ones? The loft was a big one, and that's in a place that feels good, the bedroom loft.
Yeah, the loft is a fun room.
That's a huge win. And two, what I'm calling the south room, the bedroom on my side of the duplex, that is Peter will be staying in January. It's coming up soon, so it's time bound. And I want to make it a little bit magical and move it in the direction of what I think it would be helpful for, to have like artists feel held and supported and creative. And that's just making progress on it however far I get. That's two.
Yeah, doesn't have priority.
And then, so now we're adding the pod.
The pod.
Which feels so easy, weirdly.
The pod coming natural.
Real natural.
Probably a lot by virtue of the whole concept. Like, you know, we want it to be like a sketchbook. So, you know, it's like they just come easy that way. Whereas, you know, for some people they need their stuff to be like, hey, we're going to do research on this topic and then talk about it. And then like edit it all together. And it's like not what this is.
Not what this is, no.
So of course it comes naturally. That makes sense.
Well, also, because it's documenting something that I felt we were already good at, which is traversing a lot of ground in one conversation. Mm. And that feels, so like the content feels, I weirdly feel good about it.
Yeah.
But it happens to be content we were essentially creating anyway. Now we're just recording it. Mm-hmm. So that's nice. There's also like it's funny how some projects just roll on their own a little bit. And you just kind of like, every now and then you poke them and they keep rolling, and some others, right? Like Mirror House as a concept and a vision is like feels so natural and exciting. Sorry, the band feels like the vision of it feels really amazing and easy for me. Like I feel it, I see it in my mind's eye, I hear it. But making it is so hard because I don't know. Like it's so fascinating, and this is the opposite. Like I have no vision besides the vibe for the pod. And it just flow, like the content just flows out of us in our daily lives, which is really cool.
Yeah, before the pod, we just had these conversations without.
For hours.
Without recording them. So, yeah, that's just a natural thing we do. What was I going to say?
How are, I'm going to ask what sounds like a selfish question. Maybe it is. How are you feeling about the number of projects I have? Does it stress you out? Is it stressing you out to see me?
I think that you manage things appropriately, and things are prioritized about the same as I would. So it's not like anything to me. Yeah, I think we kind of want to work on stuff about the same amount, which is like, I think, quite a lot. I think, look, there's people out there spending more time working on stuff than us, but like,
sure,
not a whole lot. I mean, there's a big chunk of people who are really, really going hard. But like,
that's their thing.
I work, if I'm not literally at work.
You're working a full-time job still.
I am then working on, we were painting, I was painting right before this while Paloma was working on in Ableton. I just kind of want to be working. If I'm not working, things aren't moving ahead that I want them to move. So, I think that's a good match. And, I'm ready to help.
I think one thing, I hear you saying that, and also, I really appreciate that you model for me in real time since the beginning, since we first met. You've modeled for me caring about something and giving it your time and your attention, and also having this calmness and like almost restful parts of the day, balanced with like rigor and hustle, work, and like focus and I think I'm almost like, our weekends feel really good that way.
Yeah, we work a lot on the weekends on just the stuff we want to work on. But
there isn't like, I think I'm getting better at not being like, man, I used to be like, these are the 10 things I'm going to do this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, they would look like what people would call me time or free time. But I think there's a little bit of like hyperachiever that wasn't helpful in them. Like, I'm going to sew 3 dresses and also fix the gutters and also like, whatever. Like, it was like that. And also visit my parents and also...
I feel some nervous sweating coming out of me thinking about like making a list that is to be done this weekend.
I don't make any lists anymore. I look forward to the weekend being this time when I can be like, what should we do today?
I'm surprised that you've accepted my style of like, it'll get done.
Because I knew that I wasn't on a particularly healthy path.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Like, it'll get done, and, like, I guess you've gotten used to it, where I'm, like, there's something that needs to get done, and I, like, it'll just be sitting there while I do something else, or, like, maybe it'll get done in 2 days or something, and you haven't really raised much.
I haven't. No, because I always, by the time we met, I knew that sorry. Oh yeah. We're almost ready with this soup. I just need more broth. I recognized I was already learning. I mean, my favorite book was the book How to Do Nothing. And so I knew that I needed to deprogram from this hyperachiever mode. And I knew that for a little bit I mastered it, and then I would fall back off the wagon and be back in hyperachiever mode. So you met me at a time where I was like ready and open. I was like, this matters to me. I can tell it's really healthy for me. I just keep needing to learn, I'm still learning. So no, I'm like, it feels so good to be like, to say like, we might do 2 things.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, maybe we'll do this and this.
Right.
And then the day just flows. It feels so good.
Right, yeah.
And everything's fine. The house is cared for.
I think...
we're cared for.
Yeah.
Nothing's on fire.
I think there's like a certain style that comes about when you run things this way. Like, we were just commenting on how on the block our house has a certain like vibe to
Je ne sais quoi.
From the outside, where it's like the fence is missing a couple of things. There's no gate. It looks really nice. Everything looks really nice, but like it's like I think it's probably evident like the people who live here aren't gonna like be in a rush to get everything, I don't know, perfect looking. I don't know if this is fair, really, but like,
I think it's fair.
I don't know if that's something you wanted to hear, but you know.
Oh no, I think I tried the life where I was like trying to impress my neighbors. I lived in a fancy neighborhood.
I'm just a bad influence.
Where everybody, yeah, I really worked hard to impress my neighbors, and it was stressful because they were retired and had more money than I did. So like already I'm like, what's that? This feels really, the neighborhood also just feels like no one's competing with each other.
Yeah.
It's very sweet.
It's pretty nice.
I really like, my new like goal is like, be at least, never be the worst house on the block. Like if you're the worst house on the block, you either move to the wrong block and you just need to face that.
Yeah.
Or like, maybe you do need to put a little love into your home. But I always do put love into my home. So like, if I'm not the worst house on the block, we're good.
Yeah.
And I think what we have now is, I think there's houses, Portland is such a good example of this. Maybe other cities have this as much, but I really love this about Portland, that you can walk around a neighborhood and you can tell the houses where someone is like a little bit more focused on how it looks than on whether they love their house. And then there's some houses that you walk by that just feel so loved and lived in and maybe happen to look cute, but they usually look a little wild. There's like little parts of them that aren't polished. I always love those houses.
We've definitely got some of that going at this point.
I think we're building that vibe. I like it. I love it.
It sounds like, so really I realize maybe I stepped into a topic where Paloma's has maybe some experience on either side of this. Just acknowledging that I don't have really much experience keeping things super tidy. That might be a theme here, but it's not bad. So I wasn't sure what we were going to get into, and we already ran past a couple things that I wanted to go deeper into.
Okay, what were those things?
So one thing that this is the only one I remember actually, is I also have this history of like being really focused on finishing stuff. Like it was really important for me to like, even as like, particularly as like a musician. So like, it was really important to me to like, not just like start and not finish things. Like somehow I had connected this, and like I've been around a lot of people. I've known a lot of people that just like have a lot of ideas and never do them, and like that always just bothered me, I guess. So I had this like real intent on like finishing songs, like finishing albums, finishing things, finish the painting,
Yeah.
and that's great. But like. It's actually not great.
It's not?
It's a good quality in certain respects. So for certain things, like you covered, like there's a need for a hustle, you know? Like I think a hustle is like a big part of the creative process oftentimes.
Yeah.
But there's also this like, there's always gonna be this like intangible thing that is required to like make art that is like really good or genuine. And like good is a really shorthand way of saying something more complex.
Sure.
But like
Sure.
the thing you're working on has its own like demands usually. And like a type A person who's just running through tasks is probably also the type of person that's gonna like not really be listening to what is needed. And I think where I'm at right now as far as like artists and creative types, and this is like an ever-changing thing that some people are just gonna learn early, or you know, there's so many different ways to be an artist, but like I think where I'm at now is like someone who maybe has made something that's really, really great. I think they tend to have a way of existing that involves a lot of listening to these sort of intangible things that like you can't like mathematically describe. You can't like, you can't turn it into like a list of to-dos. And
it sounds like you can't force. I'm sorry to interrupt you. God, I did interrupt you.
You're good.
I just get excited. It sounds like if you're overly focused on completion, as if the project has a deadline, which these don't usually, right?
Right.
That you miss the signals of what the project needs, or like that, like the painting needs.
Yes.
Because you're like, it needs to get done. Versus like, it's not done. It's just not done yet.
Right. Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. It's like, I think it's often the case where like you like don't really get to just say it's done, you know? Like that's not exactly how it works. And so like I think my frustration maybe with people that are just like ideas and no execution, which you will encounter. And it's like kind of up to you to decide how you want to handle that, or what your tolerance is, or like just how it's going to affect like basically your mental health.
To have those people in your life, or to be one of those people?
To have them in your life, if you're like me, where like it's important to like execute things. Because oftentimes the what they provide is really valuable. But anyway, it's like a whole nother topic. But yeah, this idea that what you're working on it's like kind of always telling you what it needs. And it's not just what you're working on. Like, I think this extends into your life, where I guess like the thing I'm trying to say is like, it really, the thing in my opinion, that's going to make something great is something that you'll never be able to achieve with a to-do list. I like really believe that. And I think it's like good that frustrates some people, because like that's just what's special about it and like about life, is that it can't be turned into a science like that. And so I guess that was just something I wanted to say that came up that we just ran past while we were talking.
Is there a project we have or you have where you felt that you felt yourself reverting to like just it needs to get done because I thought I'd have it done by now, and you had to remind yourself, wait, that's not how this works?
Well, I do it like all the time because this is just something I've been in the habit of, where like basically as an artist, the situation is that in me there is an artist. And on top of that artist is this other not artist, trying to turn everything into a to-do list, basically. And it's like, this other guy doesn't understand that there's like this artist who's like quietly waiting for this guy to stop talking, basically. Just like, he won't budge. The artist won't move until this guy stops talking. And he's got infinite patience. He'll just sit there for forever, for years if needed.
The artist will.
Yeah.
Oof. Like,
he won't move until you stop talking. And so I'm kind of always doing that. So like painting's a great example. It's like, I'm probably like
soup's ready.
I'm gonna be adding paint to the painting forever until I start making marks on the painting, like out of a place of like doing what the painting is asking me to do, rather than like, I see this needs to be done, put it on the to-do list, and we'll just like crank it out or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's like a good example. It comes up pretty much all the time. I mean, I think as a programmer, you don't ever have to listen to the artist in you. Mm-hmm. Like, the artist is not gonna like help you much. You can, and it's like sort of a luxury. You can just like ignore him and just like make everything a to-do list and just like plow through it. Alright, we're over here in front of the fire.
I'm still listening, but I turned away from Derek because I realized I fucked up and I let the fire go out.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
So I'm gonna...
One was gonna work.
Yeah, what's my question there? Because you were like, wait, I want to make sure to go back to this.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty fun and cool topic.
Yeah, we talk a lot about these different parts of us. Like, I have this, like, artist, Paloma, that I thought I was sometimes giving time to, and I really wasn't. And then I have hyperachiever Paloma. I've talked about different parts of us like that, and that each different cultures, depending on which culture you live in, kind of value and reward these parts of us more than others. And so, like, for me, the hyperachiever Paloma was definitely rewarded and encouraged. And so she kind of got, like, really strong and was, like, really dominant and loud and, and ruling the game for a while in my life. Uh-huh. And I felt externally rewarded for it. And it was romanticized or something, but at the expense of artist, like creative. I actually call artist Paloma an animal. Mm-hmm. She's very much like this animal, but it sounds like you. Maybe a question I have is, are there one of the ways that I balance all this stuff out in my head is my morning pages, which Google Artist Way morning pages for a quick definition of that. But you just kind of do it in your head, like through your check-ins during the day to be like, how am I balancing these parts? You kind of just do it.
Yeah, I mean, I keep a journal, just not as consistently as yours.
I didn't know that. Secret.
It's like periodically in my life, I'm very consistent, but at all times, I have a journal that's getting an entry occasionally.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Ready.
We might have to stop to eat. I'm gonna pause, or do you want to try and we can set this down and eat?
Let's try it.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get the. Let me get the.
Oh right, we realized this
holder.
Thing doesn't stand up on its own, so we put it in a mug.
Yeah, we'll just like talk at it.
And that lets me mind.
Classic. This needs a fork. I'm gonna get a fork.
A fork. Okay. We made. We took a leftover Thai dish from last night, and we made it like a miso tofu soup for today. Pretty damn good, I gotta say.
Brought you the fork if you want it. Yeah, so a hyperachiever is probably gonna maybe will find, I don't know, I like a hyperachiever artist. I don't even know. I mean, that does exist. I think you can find a way to make that work.
I know a few.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's not that it doesn't work. It's kind of like we were saying. There's people that work all the time, whether it's on their creative practice or on their wage, whatever, 9-to-5 job. They still work all the time. To each their own. Maybe the theme that we were on is that you and I are in a place in our lives where we're there's multiple benefits. We want to appreciate and leverage the multiple benefits of not being in that mode. Always, all the time, hyperachiever mode, because I guess maybe that's a question. Why? One reason that you're saying that it's important to you to balance hustler, working all the time, deadline driven, task completion, dopamine hitting, Derek, versus your creative side. One reason is because you just won't get the same creative results if you're task oriented only. You have to listen to what that piece, whatever the creative project is, you have to listen to it, and it's on its own fucking timeline.
Yeah.
That's one reason why you want to balance these two parts. Are there other things you want to leverage about why this matters to not just be go, 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 go?
I think it matters because this isn't like just about art. The reason that the like right brain people like seem to have some sort of artistic, I mean this I don't know anything about this really. This is my guess. It's because like your left brain is like your math brain, you know. So it's because it's about like your experience being alive. It's like your true experience as a human being is what is like what this is all about. And so yeah, it's about more than making art, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, as you were talking, I was like, oh man, one reason I value like how you model this balance, like chill, things get done. Whether it's we're working on house projects or whatever, it's because my nervous system was so taxed when I was in hyperachiever mode, like so taxed. I feel like I was like on some different like gigahertz or something. Like I was like on some kilowatts. That's what I'm thinking of. Like I was just like operating at these crazy kilowatts, and my nervous system was just like moving towards frayed. Sorry, it got frayed. I don't know how else to describe it. And the pace that we have now in life, where like somehow there's all this progress being made. I mean, I'm really honest. My friends are really good at pointing this out, where I'm just like, oh, it's just hard that I'm not making more progress on the house. And they're like, didn't you just finish creating a bedroom out of a garage loft that you called the torture room before, and now it's your favorite bedroom in the house in 2 months? I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's also tons of progress is happening all the time. And my nervous system feels so well paced.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think makes me better at listening to my intuition or gut feeling, that recurring theme for us.
Yeah, no, I guess all this said, like, having, being able to just, like, crush to-do lists, yeah, that'll definitely aid somebody through life. And, like, if you can find a way to do both, then, yeah, you're probably going to be, like, pretty powerful as an artist. Because, like, a lot of it's going to be, like, hustle. From what I've observed, you know, I think there's a lot of, like, I don't think you're just, like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of, like, to-do lists in life. And some people are just down to do them.
Yeah, I mean, you know. I let myself have a little of that, like, on Thursday, I realized I'd been ignoring my inbox for about a week and a half or 2 weeks. Straight up, didn't check it. Like, my work ones.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt really good to be like, okay, today I'm gonna, like, this is the level of achievement that this changed my life standards. Okay, I'm gonna definitely respond to the 4 most important emails. And I'm definitely going to color code the next 4 important ones, but not actually respond to them. That's going to be great if I do that today. That was my, like, my goal.
There you go.
And I did it. I, like, responded to the 4 most important ones, and I color coded, like, next actions for 4, but I didn't actually move forward on them. And I'm like, yeah, dopamine, bam, hit, yes, bam. It felt good.
Man, that's a real...
But those are real, like, they're not required creativity.
Right, yeah. But you still get that dopamine. That's
fun.
that feels like something to really strive for, is like to get your dopamine, like if you can get it from things that move you forward, you know? Because like I'll get it from just like scrolling, and that's like a shame.
Social media gives you dopamine, but it also fucks with your serotonin, right?
I'm sure it's not doing. I'm sure there's some problems with it.
Derek?
I'm also getting cultured, though. You know, maybe there's something to be gained there. But it would be cool to just get that from like responding to emails, which you're gonna have to do eventually.
Mm-hmm. Derek and I consume dramatically different amounts of internet content per day.
Yeah, and this is
couldn't be more than a day, night and day, I think, and to people who hang out and as much as we do, and like each other's company as much as we do, it's pretty dramatically different.
Yeah, and if you like add it up over the course of our lives,
oh no,
we're talking like totally different lives.
Mm-hmm. It's cool though, because I think you've successfully sold me on every time I think of the internet, I don't cringe a little. I always thought I had a balanced view of the internet, and then I met Derek and realized I like kind of regularly shit on the internet. And now I'm like, yeah, there's some real magic in there. And I legitimately mean it in my heart. I'm not like faking it. I'm like, yeah, I know which corners I consume, and I'm really happy that there's other corners for the rest of the universe that is human needs and cravings.
I remember being like 12 and like noticing, or like maybe even trying to tell people, like, man, there are just some really funny people on the internet. It was like sort of like not normal to live online, and I remember just like noticing that humor was really being advanced on the internet. And I mean, everyone knows this now. It's like we're all in it together on there.
That's true. Mm-hmm. And dance. The world of dance is really advancing fast on the internet right now.
I think anything that can be shared is advancing at a ridiculous pace.
Wait, there was a second thing that you were excited to go back to.
Yeah, I can't remember. We just ran through it.
Yeah, I think I'm hoping that this morning's recording we can figure out how to denoise maybe with AI.
Yeah, that was such a big one.
Big one. But if not, god damn it, I would almost want to in some way rehash it, but we'll see.
Yeah, we can try.
Not script it, just
some bullet points.
Just be like, hey, here's the 4 things we talked about.
Yeah.
From this recording that's horrible, and it's like it was taken at heart. Coffee here in Portland, and it was so the background noise. We knew this. Derek warned multiple times.
I think the reality, though, I think the instinct to record was correct, because
oh god, yeah.
It's like how I say, like, when I find a song that I really like or that resonates with me, I'll just listen to it on repeat for like days, which I don't think everyone does that. Actually, probably a lot of people do this and just don't talk about it. But what I've noticed is like, you can't just like not listen to it in hopes of not getting tired of it. Like, you'll like emotionally just move on without even listening to the song. So like, you should just like crush the song on repeat for days while it's like impacting you. Wait, why did I say that? The reason I said that is
I was like, take me back to
yeah.
the shitty noise quality background noise.
So, like, the instinct to record in that moment is correct because, like, you can't, like, guarantee you're gonna have that, like, spark of inspiration that got us start talking. Even, like, 2 hours later, you might just be like, I felt it there, I know, but, like, I don't really, like, remember what was so important about what we were talking. I don't know. So, like, the fact is, like, we had it there, and it was so loud, but, like, we just had to, like, record it there. So I think that's just how it's going to be.
Well, I had forgotten. I don't have the habit yet. I will, of taking the new voice recorder, just having it on my person at all times. I think that might help in the future because it has all these different scene settings that we've been playing with, like meeting versus voice memo versus. I think that's maybe when it would be helpful.
I think the voice memo one.
Trying that one.
Yeah.
I think sitting close to it.
And yeah, in like terrible circumstances like that, we can maybe just like sort of pass it back and forth or whatever.
We can do that.
Or just sit right next to it. It's fine. We had that phone like right up in our faces, and it's still super loud, right?
Yeah, but it was the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. We cover so much ground. Helps the soup.
So good.
Yeah. I got a little cold.
Oh man, it was so good.
Fire is back.
Fire's back. Paloma's done everything the last hour here. I appreciate it.
For the fire?
The fire and most of the, like, all the cooking except chopping the broccoli.
Well, that's because you were holding the mic.
Yeah.
I'm happy with our labor division. At some point, I'm going to come to you and be like, okay, actually, I'm tired of doing this all the time.
I think one of these days...
Not yet.
One of these days, I'll just start cooking without even asking.
If you're feeling inspired, go for it.
Yeah.
It's a joy to cook for you.
Yeah.
A fucking joy.
I'm glad.
Yeah. You don't wait for other things. Like when you fixed the shitty insulation plastic that we put outside the windows because turns out, don't want to spend $10,000 on replacing windows.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money to replace windows,
So we bought plastic insulation film instead.
Yeah, we're just gonna put plastic. I'm sure many can relate to that winter ritual.
You've been very mindful of going out there regularly and meticulously checking that the clear tape is still sticking in the stormy Portland fall.
Yeah, I got some special tape now too for like outdoor for this exact purpose.
Oh, it's like weatherizing tape.
That's what it is.
Whoa,
it's
you
made
went
for
fancy.
This. I mean, like, it's something to consider. Is like the materials that you're trying to tape, so it has to be special tape.
Although, I heard you say it was special.
Yeah, it's special tape. It's made for only this. So
that's legit. It's gonna be good stuff.
I think it'll work.
If we have extra, I might use it elsewhere.
Yeah, we've got extra. We do.
Do you want to? Are you gonna keep painting? It's like 7 o'clock. Or do you want to
pair Ableton?
No, my brain's too tired.
I
would do that tomorrow.
I'd like to keep painting.
You keep painting, and I'll keep messing with the noise reduction with different AI. Cause I have the brain space to like mess with if there's free programs that do the noise reduction better, and uploading the ones that are clear already. I just don't have it to like learn Ableton.
Okay.
I've concluded that chapter for the day.
Yeah, that's pretty.
My prefrontal cortex is tired.
Even I'm. Well, that's gonna be hard. Learning Ableton, I love that. That's just how many people can relate? How many people like us have had to learn Ableton? I wonder, like, millions of people.
Yeah. It feels good. The little things I learned already felt really fun to play with. So I'm all every day I play with it, or with like practicing writing lyrics or something that's related to that, like the music world. I really truly feel like proportionately more optimistic and confident about my ability to contribute to that like Mirror House band vision. If I put in like 20 minutes,
Yeah.
I feel 20 minutes more optimistic and confident that I can do that. So it pays off. It's just, it's heavy spiritual prefrontal cortex, both work. Like my PFC and my like soul are both like, whew, that was a 20-minute workout, man.
Yeah.
It was just not a realm.
It's a massive amount of information that you have to like remember and get comfortable with. I love seeing you sitting on the laptop with Ableton open, looking at a WAV file. I'm just like, yes.
That's good.
Just in there clicking buttons. Like, yes.
It's happening. It's cute that you like that.
Yeah, you know, like all these, I think I said this before, but like all these like people that you know of as like pop singers, pretty much like all of them know Ableton or something. Like,
Yeah.
they all know how to get around it. Obviously, their producers are doing a lot of heavy lifting, but like I think as far as I know, like they're all just like recording demos and like, maybe not demos, maybe real takes. Like, they're just all in there. It's just funny to think about because it feels so, like, horribly technical. I think it's just, like, part of like, the creative process for a musician now, regardless of who you are.
Yeah, I think it blows my mind that something that is so ancient as music, like human created music, it's so ancient that there's like now this really complicated software. I mean, obviously many softwares, but Ableton is an example that is trying to like take that universe and turn it into all these little pieces that can be infinitely rearranged, like this infinite Rubik's Cube.
Mm.
It blows my mind, like the people that created this kind of software. It's just wild. It's cool. Every little bit of it that I learn, it's not just, I think you often refer to like the complexity of the software, which is very true. That's a big, steep learning curve for me. But it's also, I think, as a musician, I figure that it's been so long since you've had a beginner's mind about how music happens. Like, I also think you were just born with a talent for it. Like, and so when I'm like listening to that song that I'm really excited to finish lyrics for that you just like wrote in front of the fire one day, every like line of lyric is like, it feels like when I was trying to learn how to ski as an adult, where I was like, why is nothing working? I feel such an ease in like journaling, like putting my feelings to words. I feel it in like all different aspects of my life. I can like get a sense of a skill and like start picking it up. And it's really interesting that, like, every aspect of it feels both really, really hard. Like, so, like, yeah, like I'm entering a universe where the laws of physics are totally different. And then somehow at the same time, I'm like, I can feel that I have a thing I want to do about it. Versus like programming, I like learned basic HTML. I remember, it's really fucking hard in the beginning when you're just like, what the fucking what? And it's like, it was hard on my brain, but it never felt like I don't know that I have something to say in this medium. So I'm just gonna use Squarespace from now on.
Yeah.
And this, I'm like, no, I like need to learn how to make a beat in Ableton because I have a beat in my head that I want to play with. Yeah. And I don't know. I want to be able to make it. Or like the lyrics, I'm like, I have a song I want to write the lyrics for you for, and I want to present the lyrics as a first draft finished.
Yeah. Because
that's what I want you to respond to. I have like a thing. So that's really, I've never had a relationship to a medium that way.
These are all good sounding things. I was like, I think with my, like we were talking about, like sometimes I very often find myself making stuff without like paying that much attention to like a creative voice. I'm just like, sometimes I'm just making because maybe that'll like kick it off, or I'll get inspired in the middle of it or something. And yeah, I had made like 4 little songs for us to like start thinking about. And like, yeah, Paloma just, I think, had such a clear idea of what was needed. She like wasn't just like buying into everything that I was making. It was like there's just like some specifics that she has, and like to me that's like, I like that that's something you're working with, because it's like that's basically something that maybe if I ever had it, I've like forgotten a lot about it. And
like having an idea of what you want the finished thing to be before it's been created.
Yeah. Whereas like I'm sometimes just like making a bunch of stuff and then maybe seeing later like what fits together, or like, which is maybe just a valid process, but it had a, I don't know. That's like how I take photos too. I was talking about how I love digital cameras because I can just snap like 1,000 photos, and just like pick 3 of them that I like, and it's like almost how I do music also, where I'm just like, well, if I make like just a ton of stuff, I can like after the fact like pick the one that just magically worked out. And in this case, it's like you'll like, I made those tracks and it was like there's elements you've liked, but like you have some idea that you'll like try to find the words for me, and I'm like, God, this is so not my strong suit of like having an idea and just like doing it like I hear it. But it's like, I don't know. It's a good exercise to be in, and I feel good knowing you have like a vision for what you want things to sound like. That will help a lot.
Yeah, it's fun that you're not you are open to me being like, these are cool, but I want it darker.
Yeah, it's like, well, what do you need? And I'll just like be like, all right, just like, can you show me what songs you like? So now we've got like a playlist going, and it's like, all right, this helps a lot because now I have like the kind of instrumentation that you like, and like we got chord progressions, we got like melodies, we got vocal performances, we got like production, I got like all kinds of data just because, yeah, you know, I think the way that I best hear what you're looking for is like give me like the timestamps of a song where the thing you like is happening, and then I can like probably do it. But you knowing how to put stuff together is gonna be pretty cool. I'm like really curious to see what that like will mean, that you can like put stuff together.
Yeah, I think both will be helpful. I think we already have a good starting point in that, like, even if it's not easy, we are communicating, me being like, I want more of this, and then you did, like, you made this, so the next song after I was like, I want it more dark, and you're like, show me songs that you mean by dark, and I did, and then we talked through specific ones where I was like, that sound, like, that vibe, and you were like, okay, and then you went and you made the new one. And I was like, that's fucking it. So like, yeah. we do have like a good starting track record. That even with just like me having words, and I'm excited to have both then. Like we'll have that, but also there's some that I can just get us closer by doing it from scratch. Also, it really is very satisfying and fun to be playing with it with my new keyboard.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking of the night, which is well back, but it was one of these. I feel like it was one of these like I didn't realize it, but maybe tests about what collaboration will look like for us. And that you had just done one of the songs. It was like I think it was Bing Bing, one of like the tracks that you called Bing Bing. Mm-hmm. And you played it. And there was some minor notes, because Derek is into minor notes.
There were a lot, yeah.
And I like couldn't tell if I was uneasy because minor notes are not comfortable for me because there's a darkness and uneasiness about them. If that's like uneasy versus dark. So I was like, am I having a hard time with them because of that? And they're not like the ones I would go to? Or is there something else? And it was cool to just sit there on the sofa bed while you were in the dining room listening to it on repeat and being like, oh, I want a dark monster to come in. And you were like, what? Yeah. And I busted out the keyboard. I brought it out to the sofa bed and just started playing with different instruments and like different notes. And I was like, oh, I found it. It was some weird instrument on the keyboard, this huge Casio keyboard that I found at like, I don't know, used. It's like from forever ago.
Yeah, it's like a trombone sound or something.
And I was like, I want a monster this monster, which is like, to come in around here. And I remember you looked at me like, either you were like, Jesus Christ, girl, or you were like, okay, let me play with it. Within 7 seconds, I would say, you had a melody with that specific note, and the melody was like it. I was like, oh my God, he's singing? The monster is coming and being like, and I just was like, that's it.
Yeah, this is what's really funny is...
Now the minor notes make sense. It's because, like, they're the background singers to the monster.
Yeah, you have, like, the piece I'm missing, which is just, like, an emotional understanding of the song. It's really funny that I don't have that, but I'm so, like, capable of doing, like, everything to make a song. So, it's a good pair. I think if we can make this work, it will, like, really work.
Oh, we are actively making it work.
Oh, yeah, we're making it work every day.
We just, to your point, it sounds like full circle from where we began this conversation when we started making our soup. I liked the permission to focus on the pod first to get that up and running a little bit, because then it'll be just part of our days to record, upload.
Yeah.
And then I can come back to Ableton more wholeheartedly for the band.
Right.
Versus, again, trying to have 4 projects going at once actively.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard.
It's like 1 too many projects. 2.5 projects is quite doable and healthy for me.
And I mean, the pod is one that just kind of like came out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere.
So it's like this idea just came out of nowhere and shot up the charts of priorities.
Yeah, I like that we both
we
are in
like
sync.
it so much. We like doing it so much. Yeah.
That was me ooting. Okay.
All
We
right.
don't yet have a sign off.
Oh yeah, we're working on a thing to say at the end of the pod. Maybe even at the beginning.
I like that. Little bookends.
Exactly.
What would...
I don't know. Well,
It'll come to us without us even... The way Mirror House as a name, just...
Yeah.
We didn't like force a name. It just naturally finally came out.
I think we'll just say something and be like, "Oh, that's it." It'll just happen randomly.
I have an idea, but I'm going to hold it for next recording.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
See you later.